Today I'm going to share with you how Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki changed my life and the 5 principles I think everyone needs to learn by applying this book. All right, so number one thing he talks about a lot is breaking away from that traditional mindset, that mold that we were all brought into in this life, right? It's the same mold I was brought into, because as a kid, my dad, he told me, he said, Chris, I want you to be the first kid in our family to go to college and get a degree. Because my dad didn't do that. My mom didn't do that. My mom went to be an entrepreneur. My dad, he worked hard at his jobs, but he felt like he was going to work there the rest of his life. He literally thought he was going to work until he died. If anything, died from working too hard. I mean, that wasn't the life I wanted to live either. So I said, you know what? I don't want to live your life. Let's do that. So he said, Chris, this is how you do it. And it's the same thing that Kiyosaki talks about in Rich Dad Poor Dad. He's like, Chris, you work hard, you get good grades in school, so that'll get you into a good college, and then you get that degree from that great college, and then you'll get a great job. That great paying job will eventually allow you to save up some money in your retirement account so that hopefully, in your 60s or so, you'll be able to retire and you can live the rest of your life free, right? How many of you guys have heard this, right? I mean, we've all heard this thing. This is the traditional mold. I mean, even teachers at elementary schools will teach you this kind of brainwashing. The reality is this, is that my dad, other than going to college, did everything right, but he couldn't retire. And then over the many years that I was a financial advisor, and even after I quit being a financial advisor, after meeting with thousands of people that have taken the same exact path, it's all led to the same thing. And that one thing is not success. Unfortunately, it's led to people struggling, surviving, trying to save forever, pay off all their debts, and hopefully that someday they might be able to have something left for them to live on. Guys, that doesn't work. And that's a big point in the book, is that it hasn't worked, that the people that actually become free aren't those that have taken this path. It's those that have taken control of their own destiny, taking control by having their own business, taking control by having their own investments and their own passive income. That is where they get real freedom. So that's the thing that he talks about there, huge. Number 2, he talks about is that assets pay you money. They don't cost you money, they pay you money. You make money from assets. If you don't make money from them, it's a liability. So the very common thing in America today is that people will say your number one asset is your house, right? But if that house isn't actually paying you money, if you're only paying for the use of that house, even if it's quote unquote debt-free, but you're still paying for the use of that house, it's not an asset. According to Kiyosaki's definition, it's a liability, because assets put money in your pocket while liabilities take money out of your pocket. So ask yourself, the assets I have, are they actually paying me money? Many of our clients, they talk to us, they'll say, hey, I have a house, I have an asset. Okay, are you making money from that asset? No. Okay, you have savings. Is that making you money? Not really. I'm earning .nothing% at the bank. That's not making me much. Okay, great. How about those retirement accounts your financial advisor set up for you, or that 401k through your job? How's that doing? Not paying as much as it should. Yeah, is it actually paying you anything month to month? No, zero, Chris. Those retirement accounts don't pay me anything because I'm too young. I'm not 59 and a half yet. Therefore, do you really have any assets? Assets pay you money. That's how you know they're a true asset. Everything else is a distraction. Number 3, debt is not evil. Now this was something I was definitely not raised with. My dad was so proud of the day that he paid off his house early before it was actually due. He paid it off, said, I am debt free. Dave Ramsey would have thought he was the best child he ever raised, even though my dad's older than Dave Ramsey. Maybe my dad taught Dave Ramsey. Maybe that's where he got all his information, because the truth is he paid off all his debt, yet he was not financially free. Our favorite clients are those that paid off all their debt, except maybe their house. They're saying, okay, I'm essentially debt free, but I don't feel any more free. That's the point that Robert Kiyosaki makes in Rich Dad Poor Dad, is that debt is not evil. Debt is a tool. It's neither good nor bad. It depends on how you use it. If you're someone that's a spender, you're going to blow your money, debt's the worst thing you could possibly do. However, if you can be a wise steward of your money, if you know how to use your money well, debt can be one of the best tools you can use to grow your wealth now, create passive income to the point where you can become financially free and eventually be quote unquote debt free anyways. But many people don't take that path because we're always taught debt is evil. Why are we taught that? Because the banks are the ones that want us to do that. Now you think, wait, the banks love us having debt. That's how they make their money. That's half true. But the way that they make the most money is not only when you have debt, because you'll pay the interest in the beginning of that loan anyways, but paying it off early, allows them to take that money and be able to leverage it more, to be able to loan out to more people. The more there's flow of money coming in, the faster you pay back that loan, those loans that you have with them, the faster they can turn around and make more money with it. They love it when you pay off your mortgage early. You think you're sticking it to them, right? You think you're getting one up on them. That's their whole game. They love to teach you that debt is evil and that you should pay it off as fast as you can so that they can take very little risk while you take all the risk. This is why a 15-year mortgage actually is riskier than having a 30-year mortgage. But again, the main point is this: debt doesn't have to be evil. Debt can be a great tool in the hands of the right person. In the hands of the wrong person, debt's never a good idea. So it's never about whether debt is always good or always bad. Anybody that tries to talk in absolutes like that, those are people that you know are telling you lies. Debt depends on how you use it and the best way to do it. And just so you know, business debt, if it were so evil, why would businesses, some of the best businesses in the world, still have debt and be a very strong company? And why would banks have so much debt? If it were so evil and they're telling you to pay it off early, why do they have so much of it? Why don't they pay you off early with your savings account? Something to think about. Number 4, cash flow or passive income creates freedom. If there's any underlying message in this book, is that passive income that exceeds your monthly expenses, when that exceeds it, you become financially independent. That's where financial freedom becomes possible. Passive income always has to be coming in. Now, passive income is different than active income. Active income is money that you work hard for, right? That's the money you get from your job or your business. But passive income is money you earn even when you're not working. Money that you earn while you're sleeping. Money that comes in whether you work for it or not because it's set up right. This is why often you'll hear him talk about in the book about real estate investing, right? That's a big one. He loves to talk about oil and things like that because he loves oil and gas. He learned about that in the 1970s. There's so many ways to do that. You can even create passive income through your business. But again, the passive income is the key thing that creates freedom. It's not about how much you save in this big retirement account. The amount of money does create freedom. I've seen that true with people that have come to us for help. They've paid off their debts. They've saved up sometimes millions into their retirement plans to then say, Chris, I have a couple $100s a month of passive income coming in every month. I can't retire even now. Do I have to keep working till some undetermined amount of time, till I'm 50,000 years old? Tell them how long do I have to keep doing this crap? That's where passive income has to come in. And then the 5th one is really his ESBI quadrant, and he explains that. ESBI stands for employee, self-employed, business owner, investor. Right? Now the E and the S, the employee and the self-employed, really are kind of in the same category because both of them are working hard to get active income, but they really don't have any passive income coming in. If they stop working, they stop getting paid, right? This is the thing. They have one main stream of income. Even though a self-employed might be better than being an employee in many cases, you can make more money there, you might have more control of your income, yet you still don't have freedom because there's not enough multiple streams of passive income coming in. This is where the B quadrant comes in. The B quadrant, with being a business owner, says I have systems in place that I could step away from my business. I don't have to work it all the time to be able to make money. It's nice to know that money can come in regardless. I love the fact that I got my business. I went away from being self-employed to actually having a business. I was self-employed as a financial advisor. Having a business, way better. Because again, I don't have to always hustle and try to hunt for the next meal, right? I don't have to always hunt for income. It's always coming in. And of course, the last quadrant that I love is the I quadrant, the investor quadrant. Because in that quadrant, that's where you have those multiple streams of passive income coming in. That's where you have the money to be able to come in, and you can even quit the E, the S, or the B quadrant if you chose to, because all that passive income coming in. I like a combination of the two. Like I said, the ones he talks about are the two best, are the B and the I quadrant. But you should have a mixture of these if you're gonna do that. If you're gonna have it, that's great. You can only be in the I, and that's fine too, but just know that there's advantages and disadvantages to each one. And so to recap this, like I said, number 1, he talks about is that the traditional way of doing things doesn't work. Working hard, getting good grades, going to college to get that degree, to get a great job, hopefully that's paying well, to get those whole golden handcuffs, to have your retirement account and do that forever, and then hopefully you have some sort of retirement of life after that, doesn't really work. That method has been almost 100% failure rate. Why would we keep repeating it? Number 2, he talks about the assets actually pay you money. Liabilities take money out of your pocket. Be sure to focus on having assets that pay you money. 3, debt is not evil. Debt can be a tool. What can be evil is how you use it. If you're uneducated or uneducated in the way of not knowing how to use it properly, or you're a gambler, or you're somebody who spends too much money, debt's evil. But if you can use it wisely as a wise steward, debt can be a great tool to help you accelerate and grow your wealth. 4, cash flow creates freedom. Having more passive income is where freedom comes in, and that's where, especially in those quadrants, the business owner and the investor quadrant give you the greatest ability to create freedom. I would love to know, what are some of the biggest lessons you've gotten from Rich Dad Poor Dad? What have you learned? Put those in the comments below. If you like this video, check out, is Rich Dad Poor Dad really worth reading in 2022? Check it out now.